Hi, and welcome to another Coffee with a Carrier. I'm Jeff Crockey, Director of Marketing, and today we've got a really special episode for you. Michael Lujan with Cigna plus Oscar is here to represent, and then interviewing him, Senior Vice President Kevin Timoni. Welcome, gentlemen. Happy to have you both.
Glad to be here, Jeff. Thanks.
Good to see you, Jeff. Wish we were in person.
Likewise. All right. Thanks, gentlemen. Kevin, take it away.
Yeah. Well, our seventh episode, we have here our guest needs no introduction. Mr. Lujan has held various leadership positions here in the California market, whether it be carriers or general agencies. He's been involved in health underwriters associations on a local and national level. And it is an absolute honor to have you here with us today, Michael. Welcome.
Thanks a lot. That's very flattering. I think I need some introduction. Not everybody knows me, but I appreciate that. You could add to my bio a former LISI alum.
You know, I was going to go there, but thank you for bringing that up. No, you know, it's been, wow, what a year we've had. And for you and I, what a journey it's been in the health insurance space out here in California. I mean, you know, I got into it 20 years ago, and you and I have competed and worked together, and it's just been a great journey. Tell us a little bit about your journey to Oscar Health.
I joined Oscar in 2018. In January, I was a co-founder of my own company called Limelight Health in San Francisco. Enjoyed living and working up in the Bay Area for about 17 years and realized it was time to come home. So made my way back to Los Angeles, where I'm from, and joined Oscar. It was a great opportunity. You don't get a chance to build a health insurance carrier startup. That doesn't come around too often. So I jumped all over it.
Oh, that's great. No, that's great. You know, I think one of the best ads I think everybody can remember is we'd have been here sooner, but we took the 405.
That was our New York marketing team trying to prove that they understood LA.
You know, they nailed it. Yeah. They certainly nailed it. So,
Right.
So why California? You know, coming all the way out from New York, what were some of the things that led you guys here?
Yeah, so aside from the obvious, California is a huge addressable market. We are bigger than a lot of countries. So the California opportunity is huge. But when you consider also what we do differently, and adoption, embracing technology, having a true appreciation for what it means to innovate and create new, I can't think of a market that makes better sense than California. And I would go the extra step to say, and especially in the Bay Area.
Absolutely. No, it's good to know that you came up here to the north. I recently relocated up here, so that's great to hear. Now, you know, my prior life with CalChoice is all about choice and options for brokers, and I applaud the efforts of Oscar and your portfolio development team and looking at EPOs and how they give brokers really a new opportunity to be successful and frame up that discussion. How's that been going, and what can we expect to see down the road?
It's been going well. I've got this silly grin because you and I are never this serious. So I'm trying my best to stay in character here. The smile that I had was you had to leave SoCal to go north because we both couldn't be here. So anyway, all joking aside, EPO and as a new concept, obviously we didn't invent it. EPOs have been around for a while. But I think the timeliness of bringing together a plan that says, look, HMOs, you know, everyone gets what they are. No one enrolls in an HMO because they love having a skinny network and having to ask for permission to be referred to a specialist. It's price. So if you can deliver something that's price competitive with an HMO without the restrictions, so with a broader network, never referrals, an EPO makes a whole lot of sense. But the caution flag there is a lot of people not familiar with EPO, or they think that it still has a requirement for referrals. So there's a little bit of education we have to continue doing.
Well, and there's a lot of technology and support decision tools and things that Oscar has baked into their offering. Tell me about how those assist, you know, the buyer sitting there, you know, they've been on an HMO, they've maybe explored with a PPO during a certain period of their time. What are some of the more compelling reasons why brokers are able to, convince really or position the EPO?
Yeah. So I hear this a lot, from brokers, and what's encouraging, I'm starting to hear it even from clients, from both individual and small business clients that say, I get it. A PPO network, while it's convenient to theoretically have access to everyone, I think it's becoming more and more clear that out of network benefits sometimes is illusory. It's some lower coinsurance and maybe an additional deductible and maybe even a different out of pocket max. And as you think about it, if the in network is any good, chances are I don't really need to go out of network. So why pay for that difference? So I think that's the education, is more and more people are starting to see the wisdom of, let me just find a network that isn't too skinny, something that has the providers that I need. And I get it. I can stay in network. I don't even need to go out of network, even for occasional things. I can find it in a good network.
Yeah. So basically what I'm hearing is when you enroll in these type of plans is learn how to use them.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I think sometimes, the end user, purchases, and I've been even guilty of that with my own family, is purchasing something and not really diving into how best to utilize it. And, given kind of the recent, state of affairs with, not being able to engage, kneecap to kneecap, so to speak, you've got some online resources that really help in that. Can you expand a little bit about that and what brokers
Yeah.
need to know and when really framing up that opportunity?
Thanks for swinging that question back around. I don't think I fully answered it, so I appreciate the
Oh,
repeat.
good.
All right, so this is Reverend Lujan getting real preachy here. Here's something the insurance industry does broadly that makes no sense to consumers. We come up with our own jargon. We come up with our own acronyms. We come up with all kinds of rules that will vary from carrier to carrier to carrier. And we expect our members to remember these rules and acronyms and jargon when they're accessing care. Makes no sense.
Right.
So rather than, now granted, we should try our best to be transparent and include information and help our customers be better consumers, but let's be realistic about it. Providing for them access to an expert who can explain how to navigate their way around, how to access care, not just staying in network, but getting care at the best provider, at the best place, the appropriate place. That's really what consumers want. Yeah, they'll try to read once a year their open enrollment kit. They'll try to read their EOC, probably not. They might take a look once at their ID card and look at both sides before it goes in the wallet for a year. But the reality of it is most of us engage with our healthcare in real time. So that's what we have, a care team that is front and center. We actually want our members to access, contact us before they access care, because that's where all the mistakes happen. So yeah, we're guiding them to use the network, we're guiding them to access care the right way, and when it's appropriate to use telemed.
Yeah, no, that's a great segue. I mean, we've heard raving reviews on customer success from Oscar, but one of the nice things about us out here in California is we've got the GA component, and it's a great component for a lot of brokers, to your earlier point, where the amount of information that you have to consume on a quarterly basis, and lo and behold, there's a network change or something happens that, is off cycle. It's a great opportunity to engage LISI among a lot of the competitive GAs out there. There's a number of great options out there, but that's something that we really pride ourselves in is working with your team behind the scenes, getting together out in the local markets and going out and educating and training. Because one thing I know, and coming from the CalChoice days, is if you're not up to speed and doing your due diligence and your homework on product innovation like Oscar, another broker is going to come in and have that conversation. And there's nothing worse than when a broker is sitting there saying, you know what, somebody came in and talked about a new innovative product and I wasn't informed on it. And I think that that's really where you and I and our teams have been able to complement each other. And I think going forward, as people look at, working with GAs and what GAs they prefer to use, you got to take that into account. Is your GA rep, up to date on all of the products that are in their market at a local level so that they can help arm you? And you guys have been tremendous in the GA support going forward. What do you guys have planned for fourth quarter preparation?
Yeah, well, you said some really kind stuff in there, Kevin. Thank you. We feel the same. We're especially given, I've been working at this for 30 plus years and have never had to launch a product virtually.
Yeah.
Usually or webinars or virtual events are a plus. It's not the launch. So appreciate you guys giving us an opportunity, a stage, or a venue for us to be spotlighted and bring that information to market. Anyone who says, yeah, we've been here before is kidding themselves. This is new ground. Actually, hats off to you guys for creating and already being enabled. This is number 7, right? This series. Am I the first one that you've done virtual?
You are. You actually had the opportunity to be the first one together.
I wasn't going to bring that up.
I think somebody got sick that day. I don't know, but
I had the flu. I swear I did. It was the real flu back a year ago. Not the one we got now.
Yeah, but you still got your first.
Yeah, I appreciate that. So and it may be even appropriate given what we do, how much we talk about virtual care. I don't know if you heard, but last week we announced that we're expanding in the individual market with virtual primary care, something that we think is going to help evolve and serve as maybe a catalyst for how healthcare changes going forward. But anyway, I'm getting a little bit off topic. So very fortunate to work in a market that appreciates and leverages GA distribution. You're right, it's a highly competitive market, and I see you. I watch what you guys keep doing and elevating your game and bringing new tools. I think obviously brings a lot more breadth and depth on your bench to continue to do cool stuff. So that's where we lean in. We're looking for distribution partnerships that we can grow with. We're expanding into new markets, and probably markets you're either already in or you're probably growing to also. So it's been pretty cool. Brokers are a big part, obviously, of our distribution, and GAs give us excellent support to get them trained.
Hitting the virtual engagement opportunity has certainly been a new mountain to climb, but like you, from a sales leadership position, it's an incredible tool now that we've all been, force fed, that now has enabled us to reach a bigger audience. I mean, how often do you get the opportunity to sit back with a carrier partner and have a happy hour? I mean, you would never be able to get everybody on one camera. And the other option is with brokerages and internal communication, external. So for you brokers that are out there that are looking to, explore your first case with Oscar, we have the ability to virtually connect you at the presentation, open enrollment, one-on-ones. All of those things have been made available through Jeff Grocky and his team, of course, but also our carrier partners. And to keep in mind as you talk to employers that, say, listen, we're not going to allow anybody to come in. Do you have a virtual option? Keep us in mind for that.
Yeah, and I think we're even starting to get on calendars with each other doing virtual lunch and learns.
Yeah.
So we can have lunch delivered to you, synchronized if we time it perfectly, while we prep for a webinar, doing that together. So that's pretty cool stuff. And I do look forward to when we can do more than drink coffee with the carriers. I miss the social part of our business, and I think a lot of brokers do too. We're social animals. That's how we got into sales.
Yeah.
You especially, my friend.
Yeah, well. So, Michael, one of the exciting things about Q4, and there's a lot of them, we'll touch on a few of the other things that are going to impact the brokerage market, but we've got a new program that's coming into existence. It's Oscar plus Cigna. Can you give us a little insight? Like, how did those conversations originally start, and some of the behind the scenes that actually brought a program to fruition?
Yeah, well, first it is Cigna plus Oscar, and there's a reason. There's a reason they headline, and it's a big part of how we got into this joint venture. Cigna's got an amazing brand. 17 million medical members globally. I think they're ranked 13th on the Fortune 50 list. They're a big brand, but they're also a huge provider network. So they're well known in the large group market. Everyone knows their name. The network's excellent. They acquired Express Scripts, largest PBM in the land. So they have a huge network and a great brand. And that was good reason for us to partner with them for small group. They're not really in the small group game. Here in California, they do level funding down to 25 employees, but for the most part, not really in the fully insured market in most markets. for small group. So perfect partnership for us. About 18 months ago, and I won't get into the who called who first. First off, I wasn't there. But I'm glad they did, because it served a great opportunity for us. We've been plugging away as a health insurance startup company, growing our own network. Let me pause on that for a quick second. How many times do you get a health insurance carrier startup in a mature market like California building their own network organically?
Well, the barrier of entry has got to be just huge.
Yeah, it is as hard as you think it is. And I think what that means is, if we can overcome the painful, slow, arduous task of building our own network and just partner with someone like Cigna, problem solved. Because frankly, that was the reason why the growth has been going steady, but slower than we wanted to. So Cigna's got a network, doesn't play in the small group fully insured space. We do. Put those two entities together and you got magic. And I think that's really what we're bringing to the market, is we're stirring things up. I don't mind being, friendly and politely, but stirring things up in a market that needs to be stirred.
Yeah. Credit.
I know you're all about that.
Credit to you guys. And yes, we in the GA space love a little disruption. So
yeah,
especially positive disruption that gives brokers the opportunity to get out there and have a different conversation. It's a good opportunity to spotlight some of the services that LISI has for brokers. If you're sitting back here listening to Michael and I, and you want to get your message out to your local markets, maybe some of the affiliations that you have, Jeff and his team, the RSMs with LISI, are well armed with tools and the ability to sit down and really engage with, what are you doing on LinkedIn? Let's focus on the free, no cost, just effort marketing. And then where do we look at it from a larger scale? Sometimes marketing is one of those things that's so daunting that you don't know where to start. And so I would just encourage you guys, whether you're looking to promote Cigna plus Oscar, some ancillary, or LISI, and the backing of the services we have, to get with Jeff and his team and have a kind of a preliminary discussion. What's your budget? What are you looking to accomplish? And then we've got products like Cigna plus Oscar to be able to bring into that effort.
Yeah, if I can plug in a little bit more to that, amen to all of that. Because I think brokers are scratching their head a little bit saying, okay, I get that things are different this year. So I don't miss being out in traffic and doing all of these visits face to face, but how else am I going to do it? What kind of tools am I going to need? What don't I have, or what don't I know about as far as digital marketing and social media and other ways to connect with potential customers or my current customers? So, yes to everything you just said, plug into that. One of the best programs I've seen that helps enable brokers with, modern marketing. It's brilliant.
Excellent. So let's shift the discussion a little bit over to AHPs. That looks to me, and, being new to the business 20 years, that looks to be a significant impact to small group throughout this state. It could be thousands of employers could potentially be disrupted from their current offering. How do you guys view that, and where do you see some opportunity?
So association health plans, if you stick around long enough, everything comes back around again. So I'm going to date myself, and damn you for making me do this, Kevin. But back in '85, when I first got into the business, that was what the small group market was full of. There was association plans, MIWAs, MERPs, all sorts of different insured and offshore trust programs. Many of those went away, but the concept still holds true. So I think there's still an interest in the idea of clusters of small businesses getting together and getting some collective benefit of an association health plan. Now, I think California's legislature has been pretty openly opposed to anything that would disrupt the fully insured ACA market. So I would expect in California, there's going to be considerable pushback on that, and AHPs will probably have a tougher time here than they would in other states. But I get it. They don't have to be the old kind that went belly up and insolvent. They could be, more regulated and that sort of thing.
Well, and for a lot of that audience who have been under those shells, if you will, this will be the first time that they're going in post ACA.
Right.
Because a lot of those are grandfathered or large group pools. And so it'll be interesting that what will be the softest landing for those, new entrants into the ACA. I can imagine the Cigna plus Oscar is going to be a good landing. I also would think that some of the exchanges may be a good landing in terms of the choices and flexibilities that they have.
They might be, and I guess I should probably clarify, because I personally have loads of opinions, but this is where I have to insert a disclaimer. I do not speak on behalf of Oscar or Cigna in my comments, but I do have opinions, and my eyes are open to what the market fluidity needs to be, and I do think that there could be a new way to bring back AHPs. We don't think about and talk about them too much at Oscar right now, but we keep an eye on it.
Well, good. That's good. So so you look at market expansion. Give us an assessment of where you're at right now, and maybe a little purview as to where you're headed. The Bay Area is on the radar for fourth quarter here. Got some great penetration in some of the local markets in Southern California. Give the audience a little glimpse of what's coming down the pipeline.
Sure. So we launched small group in 2018 in LA and Orange County. If you go by rating regions, I don't know who does, but regions 15, 16, and 18 for you quoters out there. We have some expansion that is yet to be announced, so TBD on that. We are launching 2021 late or 2022 full.
Okay, we'll take it.
just cool your jets there, Kevin. You'll know when you're supposed to know.
Oh, that's fair enough.
No, but I don't want to get ahead of myself. So pending regulatory approval, there's filing and there's a whole process. But the one thing you haven't heard me say about our partnership with Cigna is you've not heard me call it a pilot.
Yeah.
And there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
They're already invested in future market expansion. We're already doing a lot of the work now that pinpoints exactly what other markets we want to grow in and expand. So right now, for the first wave, it is the Bay Area, Atlanta, Georgia, and all of Tennessee. And I think by the time you have this posted, we will announce yet another market for January of 2021, which is Arizona.
Oh, fantastic. Well, that's good to hear. And that's another good opportunity to remind brokers that, we were recently acquired by Amwins, which also has a national game plan, if you will, to evolve those markets and to enter those specific states that we're currently in and expanding those. So that's exciting for both organizations. And for a lot of brokers, and through conversations I had with carriers, a lot of brokers are marketing in the state of California. And a lot of brokers in California are marketing out of state. That opens up such a broader opportunity for brokers that are in highly competitive regions, it may be in LA or Orange County or, San Francisco. LISI has the ability to help you market out of state and provide those services. And for agents that are listening to this at home from Arizona or New York or Atlanta or North Carolina, we've got the resources on the street to help you. You don't have to jump on a plane. You've got enrollment services out here. You have people that can present, co-present. And as we talked about earlier, you have the virtual engagement opportunity with carriers like you and general agencies like us. So the sky's the limit in terms of what brokers' opportunities are to take products like Cigna plus Oscar to market.
So and you're tapping into something that's, it's really easy to get burdened by the weight of what's happening in the economy as a direct relation to COVID. But you're tapping into the sunnier side or the flip side of that same coin, which is the opportunity. And I'm so glad that you said that, because that's exactly right. The barriers that we might have put in our own heads around, I live and work here, therefore that's my yard and I'll stay in my yard. In this new virtual business reality, and it may come at us, pretty abruptly and pretty hard. But I do think that that's the good outcome that comes out of this, where even as it relates to care, like I said, Oscar was big about free and unlimited telemed for all members well before COVID. Yeah. So, we were only seeing before maybe 11% of businesses with benefits were utilizing telemed. Recent survey, McKinsey does some really good surveys of small business. Now I think that number is 76% are interested in it now. So just like that. And so similarly, virtual care, virtual brokering, virtual GA, it doesn't matter where you are.
Right. No, I admittedly last year did my first 2 telemed interactions with my doc, and it was great. It was great. I mean, I'm always a big fan of ease and convenience, but it's also like, are we going to lose touch of other things? So I'm always kind of like weary of that. But from getting care from my doctor from my home, right, is certainly not a new concept, but it's good I'm glad to hear that it's taking traction, because ultimately what that does is drive down our cost. And if we can somehow control cost, then we might have a bit of a solution here for, future rate adjustments and so forth. But, that's a great point. And I think the more that we can, promote that for you guys, the option with the unlimited telemed, the better we're going to be positioning you guys out there.
Yeah, well, and I think just to bring it back to local, to the Bay Area, and what I think brokers who serve clients in the Bay Area have known for a while is we operate differently here. The small business community in the Bay Area embraces startups. So while other markets might be, well, you've got to have been around for a long time and AM Best rating and 20 years of legacy clients and all of that, the Bay Area embraces and accepts new more than probably anywhere else. So the good thing is we come in with a rated Cigna background with the solid financials, but a lot of new that they're just not getting in the small group market. So I think that's the right fit between these two.
Yeah, and tying that all in, one of the things that we're most proud of is really partnering with some of the best in breed technology out there. We've got a great relationship with Ease. We have a relationship with Employee Navigator, and helping brokers bridge those opportunities so that they can, it's kind of like the last missing piece, if you will. You've got carriers, you got the technology, the payroll, the enrollment services, and bringing that all together is certainly complements one another and gives brokers that opportunity to get out into a broader market and find that success.
Well, and I'll add to that, LISI and others who can help bridge. So if this is daunting or overwhelming to an agency, I think you guys make it very digestible, very learnable, if that's a word. You guys help transition brokers who may be a little bit unfamiliar with this and make it very familiar with them. So I think that's exactly what our market needs. I think just a few years ago, when the digitalization of brokering was scary to people, fast forward 5 years, 6 years, and look where we are now. And it's, I think, in large part to you guys helping brokers evolve.
Well, you're absolutely right. And it's funny, a lot of those forward-thinking tech firms, and we won't call any of them out by name, but they were, referenced as a 4-letter word for a while, and now they become, really the catapult or the catalyst that's really moved the market in the right direction. And it's a testament to the market's ability to adapt and stay, in front of these things, because we know the bulk of the markets that we serve is your brokers, right? But we've got direct to employer, companies that are out there that are really putting a marketing pressure on a lot of clients to sit back and decide, do you have the technology? Do you have the tools to enable us to manage our benefits package effectively? And so when you get the GA market that comes in and provides you with technology and provides you with some of the virtual engagement, it does position yourself well when your clients are constantly being messaged from a lot of those type of new brokerages that are coming on, from a tech perspective.
Yeah, and I think, well, that's going to be the case going back. I love surveys. I'm reading a lot these days and trying to stay ahead of the news that comes out tomorrow, try to, keep a pulse. And again, going back to McKinsey doing some great surveys, they're saying that small businesses are 4 times more likely to shop the renewal this year than they would normally. And so immediately, I think intuitively, most brokers that I've talked to and GAs have said, yeah, we kind of see that. We're already starting to see the early swell of that. So it begs the question, okay, are you really prepared to do 4 times as much as you normally do?
Yeah.
That's a question every one of you brokers watching this or listening to this right now ought to be pondering, and go to LISI and ask them how they can help you. Because I do think that's the question.
What are we sitting on here? What's today? The 3rd, I think.
Yeah. Yep.
We're already working on game plans and strategy for first quarter. And so by the time this comes out, we'll probably be well into September, I would imagine. But if you're not already working, first quarter renewals, somebody else is. And
all right.
Yeah, thanks for the plug on that. Our services.
Well, I'm going to add in there, working your Q4 renewals. It's coming right at you. I'm going to give you fair warning. Does not mean just auto renew. So the other McKinsey survey finding was that, we haven't had the big drop off. So there haven't been a lot of small businesses, thankfully, knock on wood. We haven't seen the huge drop off in terms of companies dumping coverage because of the economy and furloughs and layoffs and all of that. But those same employers are saying it's not forever. So if I want to, keep this good, healthy, stable business, bottom line, I better find 10, 15% savings this coming Q4 or Q1, I guess. Mm-hmm. So I think that's ultimately, 4 times more likely to quote, looking for a 10 to 15% savings, just so they can stay on a good, healthy bottom line.
Yeah, and that's an awesome reminder. I appreciate you sharing that. But one of the biggest misses that I've seen with brokers is I know what my clients want. And I think when you see innovation and product designs and programs and partnerships come to bear, like you have with Cigna, you really have to ask yourself, do I know exactly? And if you don't, if there's any question, a market check is actually going there and letting the client go through the various options. And we've got you fully insured, you got your all HMO, all PPO, exchanges. There's different level funded programs coming in, and then you've got the play between Cigna and Oscar. So again, just to reiterate that to the brokers out there, if you're not having that conversation, somebody is going to in some capacity. And that's just a heads up from 2 industry veterans like us showing, hey, keep your eye on the ball, because very quickly you can find that the client had an appetite for something new and you were still stuck in maybe an older approach. So good.
I'm grinning over here because I'm correlating this to you. I may know what my wife likes, but I'm still going to ask her.
Great point. Well, Michael, man, we have sure had a nice conversation with you. It's been a pleasure having you
always
with the carrier. You are our first virtual engagement, and so hopefully the brokers can appreciate this effort. Again, thank you for all that you do. Your role in our marketplace is really exceptional. And on behalf of me and all the brokers and all the industry folks that you help represent, thank you very much for everything.
My pleasure. Thank you for giving me the virtual stage to do it. So looking forward to seeing all of you for real, not virtual happy hour.
That's right.
Till then, cheers.
Thanks, Michael.